Thanks, Oscar. But before starting the demo, let me explain some of the features we will show, as this could be the first time you see them. OSE provides some machine learning and advanced analytics capabilities that have been packaged to be used by anyone, even if you don't have strong data science knowledge. They are provided in two flavors. One, the advanced analytics built-in functions, that these are advanced analytics scripts that are applied directly on your data, generating new relevant information. Functions like sentiment analysis that analyze tests to extract the overall sentiment, so you can easily check if a comment was positive, neutral, or negative. And two, machine learning models. In this case, you need first to train a model by running the machine learning scripts on some example data. This example data is usually historical data that we have and that contains the attribute we want to predict. Once the model has been created, we apply it to our actual data, getting the new outcome. So, for example, as Oscar has mentioned earlier, we can use machine learning for candidate matching. We can use a list of our current and historical top talent employees in our company as our example data for training, and then create a top talent candidate model. After that, we could apply that model to all applicants for an open position and easily get a prediction on the probability of each applicant to be a top talent performer for our company. So we first train and then apply. And we also said that OSE does not require data science knowledge, but what if I want to create or use my own machine learning scripts? Well, OSE supports R and Python to create your custom scripts and models. So you just need to take your R or Python code and use it here. And that's all I wanted to explain, so let's go to the demo. Let's pretend that I'm an HR manager and I'm using OSE to be up to date to the latest info and be able to interact with the analysis. On the left, I have a list of attributes coming from our HCM systems that are natively integrated in OSE. I also have data coming from other systems, so I can see, for instance, revenue combined with employee satisfaction. This reveals that countries with higher revenue, that have a darker green, are also countries with the higher employee satisfactions, that are biggest bubbles. Checking revenue per employee shows the same alignment, and countries like Spain and UK seem to be doing really well on this subject. But today I want to check attrition, as recently we had several good workers that left the company. I would like to check attrition by department, so I only have to select this report and drag the attrition as a color. I can see that we lost some people in research and development department, but this was because we had to close one of the locations. However, I also see that half of the sales department left the company, and I really need to address it. At this point, it would be great to have some of the claimed machine learning helping me to analyze attrition issue. And that's exactly what we have in OSE. Under the explain functionality, several machine learning scripts are running in the background to provide me with useful insights about this attrition and how it relates with all other data from my source. So let's wait for it to finish. And now I'm provided with several info tabs. Basic facts, where I can see how attrition is distributed by measures. So here are things like attrition by age, or by revenue, or even by distance from home, and many of the other measures we have in our data. Key drivers, where attrition is compared to other attributes, trying to find correlation between them. So I see that the attritions correlate with the layoff reason that reminds us the involuntary turnover due to the closed department. Here we also have attrition by overtime and maybe by job role, and we can try to figure out what's happening to the attrition and how it relates. Segments that tries to explain the different groups of attrition, in this case only yes and no, and anomalies that provide us with the outliers of this data. So here, for instance, in the sales department, we were expecting to have less female leaving the company. So it's an important fact that I might analyze later. As you have seen, Explain can help you to start analyzing your data or to get better insights. But let's go back to our project. I say that I wanted to check the sales department. If I filter for the sales department, I see that the same revenue and employee engagement correlation is still in place, meaning that it's an important fact to check. So I go to my employee engagement dashboard. Here I can find data from our HCM and internal surveys, trying to explain employee satisfaction. We cannot see any outlier in job satisfaction and the scores are good. Reason of leave shows the layoff related to the research department, and environmental satisfaction also seems to be normal. So here's when we think that machine learning can help again. It would be great to get the people's sentiment, as we tend to answer to score questions in average. And you may feel good in average, but you have some small things that are killing you, and you usually put that in survey comments. So we have applied advanced analytics to get the sentiment from the surveys, and we have that in the next tab. So we go there, and at the top left, I see that we have some negative comments, but the majority of them are neutral or positive. If I check this by department, I see a lot of them in the sales, and this is more clear even in the table, where I can see that we have almost the same number of negatives than positives. So it's clear that salespeople are not happy. And probably that is one of the reasons of attrition. So we need to address this. However, asking all the sales department one by one would be simply too much. Even more, we are interested in keeping the talent, not all the workforce. So we would need a way to find out which one from our top talent are in risk of leaving. But attrition usually involves several variables, like department satisfaction, salary, or overtime, and so on and so forth, that can affect the decision of an employee to leave the company. And all that is hard to discover only with an user-driven analysis. And that's why we have used the machine learning capabilities from OSE to create an attrition model. We've used our historical workforce data to create the model, and now we have applied that model to our current workforce. That provides us with the probability of employee turnover, and that's what we are going to analyze now. So let's create a new tab, and here the first thing that I would like to check is how many of my employees are in risk of leaving. So I get the number of employees and the prediction and put them in a pie. And well, I still have all the employees here, so let me remove the ones that already left the company, filtering by the attrition equal to none. Okay, and now we can see that almost 20% are still about to leave. But what if I want to check by department? So let's get the department, the employee count, and again, the predicted turnover. So we do right click and select this time a bar chart. Once it's appeared, let me rearrange a bit this, and we can see that sales department is having still the issue with people leaving. I need to solve this issue, but I should be addressing first my top talent. So let's create a new graphic where I can find them easily. Let's select the predicted turnover and the performance rating and each of the employees by the employee ID. This time I'm going to pick a box plot visualizations that provides me with the top score, the lowest score for the performance rating, and the average. And I can go into the details of each of these employees to get the distribution. So from the ones that are in risk of leaving, I can pinpoint easily the top talent from here, prioritizing the top performance over the lower ones that I have. In a nutshell, OSE self-service and machine learning capabilities have helped us to start analyzing our HCM data with the display feature and to create an attrition model that allows our business to retain top talent. And that's all I wanted to show, so Oscar, over to you again.